There's something strange happening on the West Coast, from the sun-drenched beaches of Los Angeles to the fog-soaked hills of San Francisco. The places that once symbolized freedom, innovation, and the ultimate American lifestyle are now unraveling. At first glance, it doesn't make sense. These cities should be paradise. But dig just a little beneath the surface and you'll find a much darker reality. Families fleeing in droves, communities strained to their limits, and a sense that something is fundamentally broken. If you've ever dreamed of living out west, or if you already do, what you're about to hear might just change the way you see it forever. But before we start, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're pulling back the curtain and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Now let's dive in. It's hard to ignore the elephant in the room. The cost of living is absolutely out of control. In places like San Francisco, the median home price is hovering around $1.3 million, while in Los Angeles it's just under $900,000. Even renting isn't much better. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in San Diego is $2,600 a month. And this isn't just a California issue anymore. Cities like Seattle and Portland are following suit. Groceries, gas, utilities, everything is more expensive. A gallon of gas in California consistently tops $5, the highest in the country. And wages? They're not keeping up. In fact, the average Californian now needs to earn over $42 an hour just to afford a modest two-bedroom apartment. So unless you're a tech millionaire or inheriting property, making ends meet on the West Coast is starting to feel downright impossible. One of the most visible and heartbreaking consequences of the West Coast's affordability crisis is the explosion of homelessness. In Los Angeles County alone, there are over 75,000 people experiencing homelessness as of 2024, a 70% increase from just 5 years ago. San Francisco, Seattle, and Portland are grappling with similar numbers, and tent encampments have become a normal sight in parks, sidewalks, and freeway underpasses. Many of these individuals actually have jobs, but simply can't afford rent. Despite cities pouring billions into housing programs, bureaucracy and a lack of effective coordination have left many without support. This humanitarian crisis isn't just devastating to witness, it's also reshaping urban life. Residents report declining safety, unclean streets, and overwhelmed public resources. It creates a feedback loop. As cities become more unlivable, more people leave, tax revenue drops, and the cycle gets harder to break. It's a crisis spiraling out of control. Rising crime rates have made many longtime West Coast residents feel unsafe in their own neighborhoods. While overall violent crime is down in some areas, cities like Oakland and Portland have seen sharp spikes in homicides, carjackings, and robberies. In Oakland, homicides rose over 20% in the past year alone. San Francisco has struggled with rampant smash-and-grab thefts, often caught on camera and shared widely on social media. Walgreens closed multiple stores in the city, citing organized retail theft costing them 5 times more than the national average. Many blame reduced policing budgets, slow 911 response times, and policy reforms that, while well-intentioned, have led to repeat offenders returning to the streets quickly. Residents report feeling abandoned, locking up their mailboxes, avoiding public transit, or installing private security systems. When people start feeling like the law doesn't apply, or worse, that help won't come, it chips away at the very foundation of community. Every summer, West Coast residents brace themselves for what's become an annual catastrophe, wildfire season. California alone has experienced over 7,000 wildfires annually, with blazes consuming hundreds of thousands of acres. The Camp Fire in 2018, which destroyed the town of Paradise and killed 85 people, was the deadliest in state history, and unfortunately, not the last. Oregon and Washington are also increasingly on fire alert. Poor forest management, drought, and climate change have created a tinderbox effect, and the results are terrifying. Beyond the flames, there's smoke, weeks of it. Cities like Sacramento and Portland have recorded some of the worst air quality in the world, with school closures and health warnings becoming common. Insurance companies are pulling out of fire-prone areas, making it almost impossible to insure your home. When your living situation comes with the annual risk of evacuation or destruction, it's not just expensive, it's unsustainable. The West Coast isn't just burning, it's drying out. California has faced over 2 decades of drought, with reservoirs dipping to record lows. Lake Shasta and Lake Oroville, key sources of drinking water and hydroelectric power, have seen their water levels plummet. Farmers in the Central Valley, which grows over 25% of the nation's food, are letting fields go fallow due to lack of irrigation. Meanwhile, cities are imposing water restrictions, and residents are being told to let lawns die, shorten showers, and ditch backyard pools. But even with conservation, the reality is grim. Demand far exceeds supply. Climate scientists warn that this isn't a temporary drought. It's a shift toward permanent aridification. In other words, the West Coast is running out of water. That's not just inconvenient, it's existential. Without reliable access to water, long-term living in these regions may soon become a luxury few can afford. Before we dive deeper, I want to hear from you. Are you currently living on the West Coast? Have you considered leaving? Or maybe already packed up and gone? Or are you looking in from the outside, wondering if it's still worth it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your stories and perspectives really help drive these conversations. And while you're at it, let me know what you'd like to see in future videos. More breakdowns like this, city-by-city comparisons, or even interviews with people who've made the move. If you're finding this content eye-opening or helpful, go ahead and give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay in the loop. We've got a lot more coming, and trust me, it's only getting more intense from here. Why does a basic apartment cost more than a mortgage payment in other states? A big part of the problem is zoning and housing regulation. In many West Coast cities, it's incredibly difficult to build new housing, especially affordable or multifamily units. Single-family zoning laws dominate, permitting only one house per lot in many urban areas. Add in environmental review delays, neighborhood opposition, aka NIMBYism, and endless red tape, and you've got a recipe for chronic housing shortages. In San Francisco, it takes an average of 4 years to get a new housing project approved. As demand surges and supply remains bottlenecked, prices skyrocket. Efforts to build higher-density housing often face fierce pushback from local residents. The result? A tight, unaffordable market where even middle-income earners are priced out. Contrast this with places like Texas or Florida, where housing development is faster and cheaper. On the West Coast, policy is fueling the crisis. Despite all the money pouring into West Coast economies, infrastructure in many areas feels stuck in the past. California's roads are ranked among the worst in the nation, with pothole-ridden highways and constant traffic jams. In Los Angeles, drivers spend an average of 95 hours a year sitting in traffic, the most of any U.S. city. Public transit also lacking. San Francisco's BART system is plagued by delays, crime, and low ridership. Seattle's Sound Transit expansion is years behind schedule and billions over budget. And remember California's high-speed rail dream? What was supposed to connect LA and San Francisco in under 3 hours has become a $128 billion boondoggle, still incomplete after more than 15 years. Meanwhile, basic infrastructure like bridges, water pipes, and power grids are aging rapidly. Rolling blackouts in California are now an expected summer event. Residents pay premium taxes but get third-rate services, and people are fed up. Living and working on the West Coast isn't just expensive personally, it's punishing professionally. California has the highest state income tax in the nation, with a top rate of 13.3%. Oregon isn't far behind. Washington skips income tax but hits hard on sales and business taxes, property taxes, vehicle registration fees, gas taxes, the list goes on. It's not just individuals feeling the pinch. Small businesses often face a mountain of regulation, fees, and compliance costs. No wonder so many are fleeing. In fact, 352 companies moved their headquarters out of California between 2018 and 2021, including big names like Oracle, Tesla, and Hewlett-Packard. Entrepreneurs are increasingly eyeing places like Texas, Arizona, or Nevada, where costs are lower and the red tape is thinner. For average workers, these high taxes don't always translate into better schools, safer streets, or faster services. It begs the question, what are we paying for? Whether you lean left, right, or somewhere in between, it's hard to deny that West Coast governance feels broken. Take California's ballot initiative system. Voters are constantly bombarded with confusing propositions, some of which directly contradict each other. In Portland, attempts at police reform have been met with record officer resignations and declining morale. Seattle's city council has been accused of flip-flopping on key issues, frustrating both progressives and moderates alike. Many residents say they're exhausted, not just by high costs, but by policy whiplash. Leaders pass ambitious climate or housing bills, but lack the infrastructure or follow-through to implement them effectively. Others complain of endless studies, commissions, and pilot programs with little to show. There's a sense that city halls are more focused on ideology than results, and when people lose faith in their leaders' ability to make real change, they start to look elsewhere and move elsewhere. At the end of the day, it all boils down to quality of life, and for many on the West Coast, that's taken a serious hit. What was once prized for its sunshine, beaches, and cultural cool now comes with a long list of trade-offs. You might get ocean views, but you'll also get rising rent, wildfire smoke, endless commutes, and nightly sirens. You might live in a tech hub, but can't afford to buy a house, send your kids to a good school, or feel safe walking your dog at night. Even things that were once simple pleasures, going for a hike, dining out downtown, catching a train, are increasingly complicated or stressful. A 2023 survey found that nearly half of Californians are considering leaving the state, citing affordability and quality of life as the top reasons. And who can blame them? The West Coast dream is fading fast. So, what happened to the West Coast? How did the land of opportunity become a place people are desperate to leave? It's a question without a single answer, but as we've seen, it's not just about high rent or traffic. It's about a deeper erosion of what made these cities special. But this isn't just a list of problems. It's a wake-up call, a moment to reassess where we're headed and what we're willing to accept as normal. Whether you're a lifelong Californian, a curious outsider, or someone stuck somewhere in between, the truth is clear, something has shifted. And if you felt that shift too, let's keep this conversation going. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. The dream might not be dead, but it's definitely in trouble. Thanks for watching, and stay sharp out there.